I'm Libby from Box Meeples, and instead of Julian being here with me, I have Peter, who is the designer of Starship Captains. We're super excited to chat to you.
Yes, I'm very excited
too. So what we thought we'd do is have a quick overview from you about what Starship Captains is about.
Of course. So, well, Starship Captains is here in the background. I'll show you some pieces in a second. It's a very light and poppy game, but it's actually a very clever disguised Euro game. So you can trick people into playing Euro games without them knowing. No, it is a thematic sci-fi Euro game, sort of medium to light-ish. And it's all about, of course, being a starship captain, as the title might imply.
It just gives it away, though. A little bit.
Gives it away. But the cool thing is you spend your turns, you have different colored crew that do different things. So your red crew can move your ship around, and the yellow crew can shoot down pirates, which some people we won't name sometimes do a bit too much. And the blue crew are the most awesome ones. They're the scientists. They can get you tech cards that gives you passive powers and engine building stuff and end game scoring, all that nice Euro stuff we like, or I like.
I love. Yes.
So, but the cool thing is, whenever you use your crew for any action, you put them back in this cube. Then eventually, of course, you'll run out of crew to use, and then at the end of the round, you put your finger here and you slide things, and then whatever comes out of your queue, except for the last three, that's what you have to work with for the next round. So you have to sequence what you do and think about the order you take actions in, because that affects what crew you have available for the next turn. You can shoot the pirate ships, gives you some loot. You can save little awesome androids. They're so cute, and
they are cute.
They act as jokers, but they're kind of old and grumpy. So whenever they do work for you, they sort of don't want to work for you anymore, or break down, or so they're only one-time use. But they're kind of cool. There's 3 factions in the game, so there's 3 tracks you move up on as you complete missions. But these tracks will give you points at the end of the game, but they will also give you certain benefits when you do it. So on your turn, you either take one of these actions, or if you moved your starship to a mission, this is the mission card, you can complete the mission instead of doing an action. And the way you do that is you use your crew. Some missions will require more crew. And then if you match the colors of the lines, you get a little extra reward, but regardless, you do get the points at the end of the game. So that's the main way you score points in the game, and some of the missions will increase your reputation with some of the factions, so you move up on tracks based on that. And then you have to manage damage, and you can get artifacts you can do awesome cool stuff with, and lots of nice sci-fi stuff.
So much going on,
yes,
definitely.
Yes.
So that's great overview. And what we thought we would do to be able to involve Julian, who can't be here at Essen this year, he has sent me 5 reasons why he loves the game. He managed to play it at the UK
yes.
Games Expo, so he has had a chance to sort of tinker at it and get a good overview of that. So he's got his 5 reasons, and we thought we'd have a chat about those and what your thoughts are there, how they became that way.
Sounds great.
The first thing that he loves is the inspiration of it, that sort of Star Trek-y feel, that idea of the theme in it, and the fact that it's quite humorous, quite light-hearted.
Exactly.
And if you're a fan of that kind of genre, there's loads of sort of Easter eggs.
There's lots.
Of gems
I'm a child of I was a child in the 90s. So I grew up with the 90s Star Trek and sci-fi, which has this. I love the sci-fi that had this very positive outlook on the future, that we were going to be better as humankind, and not everything was not horrible, that we actually ended up in a better place. So sort of the inspiration for that, and I just like putting humor into games. Games are fun to play, but they can also be fun to look at and enjoy. And I like playing games that have humor and have poppy colors. So it's a perfect time that I could design a game that, of course, that should have those things too.
Yeah, I love, like, you turn over the mission cards and you sort of have a little sneaky giggle before you
exactly.
play it. Yeah. So did that sort of Star Trek theme and idea come first, or did the mechanisms of the game come first?
Well, it's sort of came hand in hand a bit. at one point I thought of this, how did this queue work, and how that could be fun. It's sort of a play on deck building and pool building games that I really like. So I sort of got that idea, and I had the idea in the context of, well, if that was on a Starship and that was your crew. So the idea was sort of came to life together with those parts, and then it was just like, well, I'm passionate about board games, I'm passionate about sci-fi and Star Trek.
Why not merge them?
Why not do both things? And I can both have fun designing the mechanical parts of the game and fun doing silly,
all of the other bits and bobs.
Silly, yes, exactly.
So his second reason why he loves this game is group, and he said to say engage. Engagement. Because he's trying to put his own little puns in whilst he's not here. But he said that he felt like there wasn't much, you didn't feel like there was much downtime when it wasn't your turn, because you're interested in what everyone else is doing. Like, what are these other missions and things that are coming up? Will they change your strategy? He loved that. So yeah, that was purposeful.
Yes, very much. I don't like the whole downtime thing in games, so that's why the actions are very short and to the point. And I also love that you are interested in whatever other players do, because that creates new options for you. Of course, it also means that the game is not a game where you can plan everything. You cannot sit in round one and say, I'm going to do this, this, and this, because you will have to each round adjust to, okay, what is the state now? Maybe a new mission came, or a new tech card you really want, then you have to adjust. And I like games like that. You have to think on your feet.
Keep you on your toes, for sure.
So that was very, very much on purpose.
Yeah, no, and I think that's an excellent element of the game, that keeping on toes is great. Although there's a lot going on, it's easy to learn, it's easy to pick up, it's not super complicated, lots of different things where you can get points and stuff, but simple to, So that's always an advantage, you know, when you're sat there with a new game and it takes you, several hours going through the book and watching the watcher plays and stuff before you can even table it. You're sort of just itching to get playing.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Yeah, I was also very surprised to see here at Essen that a lot of families are playing it. With, of course, not just little tiny kids, but like older kids to 8-10 years, they could play it easily. They got it because the rules are pretty simple. Of course, they won't get the nuances of being very effective and tweaking things, but they had fun and they could see it, and they completed the missions and they had fun with that. So I love that it can also do that.
It's not meant to be a family game, but
it's not. But I think you can, if you're a game of family of gamers, then it slots right in. So it's also, and I think it's also easier to get players that are not into this kind of these kinds of Euro games. Right? Could have been a brown beige thing. Then maybe some Euro gamers would love it, but I love that it can also appeal to other non.
Yeah, no, I think we're of the sort of, I love that Euro mechanisms and stuff like that, but it doesn't need to be beige.
It doesn't need to. There are other colors in the color spectrum than beige and browns.
And we're actively looking for games that have those elements in them, but are bright and colourful and nice productions as well.
It's the same for me. I'm very much a visual person. I'll always play games, good games at least, but I don't really want to, in my own collection, have games I don't find visually appealing, because I know I won't pull them out.
Exactly.
So it's like, I'll let my friends buy the boring games and buy the pretty games.
Yeah. The production looks amazing. These little ships are just so cute.
Yeah.
And they're sort of zooming around the galaxy, and there's loads of nice, like as we mentioned before, the actual space boards with the double layer, so you can fit things in and slide around. Like, really appreciate a nice quality build. Was that something that you kind of were striving after, or CG just naturally?
CG are very good at doing the high quality thing and very detail oriented. So I knew they were going to do it, just didn't do it like this. But I'm very, very happy with the end result of everything, down to how the crew looks. There's how many sculpts? 5 different sculpts. So there's 2 male and 2 female, and 1 alien sculpt for that's randomized in each color. So they're also different. They could have been the same sculpt.
Yeah, but it just adds that.
It just
little
adds it to
extra.
feel like it's your unique crew that you have.
Exactly,
And I think
yeah.
I love that detail. They look super awesome.
And yeah, nice to have both sexes and aliens.
Exactly. Yeah,
Great.
we sort of,
Yeah.
that was actually also a big thing for me. I wanted to do that. Also on the artwork, especially, so that it wasn't male dominant, which a lot of games end up being for some reason, which is unfortunately annoying.
Yeah.
To me. So why I was also very aware of let's spread them out and have aliens and things you cannot tell are male or female.
Yeah. Perfect.
Because that's also the kind of, again, going back to having a brighter look on humanity in general in the future. I wanted that to reflect on that, and everyone was okay with that, so that's great.
Yeah, that is great. There's such a variety of ways to score. Now, when Julian played the game, he just gunned up and went around shooting everything and didn't really score that well.
He had fun, though.
He had a lot of fun.
And he helped make the galaxy a better place for everyone else. So
He did. He had his uses, but they just weren't high-scoring uses.
No.
But he'll work on his strategy because there are many different ways to win. And maybe he can do a little bit of shooting,
Maybe.
and a little bit of everything else.
yeah, there's the game is made in such a way you can do different kinds of missions. Are the way you get the most points, but you can get points for other things. But it will be very much dependent on the technology cards, the passive and engine building powers you get. That will sort of help you dictate what direction you want to go. And so this again ties back into again being very strategic. So you can't say before you start the game, we're going to shoot pirates. You can, and you can do that. You won't win the game.
You won't win.
But you can definitely you have to pay attention to the cards and see how they tie into what's going on. So.
Yeah, that adds to the variety of what cards are coming up each game,
exactly.
and everything's a bit different.
And there's many more cards, both of the mission cards and the technology cards. Even in a 4-player game, you won't see all of them.
Yeah.
And the order is different, so they will. I played it many times, and it still feels new every time because there's a new bunch of cards or new puzzles, and those two cards work good together. I want them in this game, and so I really like that. It can keep surprising you, or keep your interest up just with whatever's in the box.
Yeah. What's your highest score?
That's so good. I think my score is the highest I ever got. Oh, it's not really fair because we got some very high scores because of some broken things. That's why we test things.
That's what.
So it's like really, I don't think, and I haven't really like this final version. I haven't played that much because now it's done. So, but I think it was 78 or something for this version. Some of the Czech games that develop it got even more there. They keep on beating me. It's so annoying. I can't even win my own game. Yeah, you should not be able to do that. Yeah, but it's good.
It looks like a wonderful game, and we can't wait to be playing it. It's definitely going to be one of the favourites in our household, for sure. Thank you very much for chatting to us today, Peter.
My pleasure.
If you've liked what you've seen today, please consider subscribing to the channel or liking. Give us a comment. What do you think of Peter's new game? Have you played it? And we'll see you next time.